Hey now guys, back here with another review for you. This one being Thor Volume 11, A Kingdom Lost, covering issues 303 to 319 and annuals 9 and 10. This book came out back in 2014, 11 years old, and this is like the original old fonted lettering. Coming off the, dare I say, epic storylines of the false Ragnarok, which turned out to be a prelude to the real Ragnarok, the Eternal Saga, which was really the Celestial Saga, the origin of Odin and Thor, and the story of the Ring of Nibelunge, or Nibelungen, and all that stuff. Issue 300, and then that was that. That was the Eternal Saga. Now, we're here at this point, Volume 11. And I did say, with all that happened in Volume 10, hopefully this one, Volume 11, would be a much calmer experience. And it was. Like, it was actually far more subdued. We now have Doug Mensch, taking over as writer of the writing, as well as Mark Gruenwald and Ralph Macchio doing several issues here and there. Of course, Keith Pollard doing the artwork. And yeah, some one-off. Oh yeah, there was also, one-off, right? Bill Mantlo did like 309 of Thor. Gil Kane filled in on, issue 318, which is actually this cover right here. This is 318. But yeah, so we're now in the 80s, 1981 to 1982. It fully, a lot of the paneling, a lot of the scene work here is a lot smaller. Everything is more compact. There's not a huge amount of panels. Every now and then something happens and it's cool, But this is like the era of Jim Shooter, where everything was pulled back. The Reagan era, 80s. Things are not as big and grand, but more human. A lot of police. Loki still being Loki. So yeah, I don't have a whole lot of time, guys, so I don't want to shortchange you, but let's get into it. So like I said, Doug Mensch is now taken over. He starts off the book with issue 303. Then Gruenwald and Macchio fill in for the next couple issues, and then by 308. Doug Mensch is the permanent writer up until, volume 12. And then Walt Simonson takes over with 13, with issue 337. Oh, gosh. I noticed that, well, first of all, Thor is now back on Earth. Every now and then he'll go back to Asgard, but he's now planted on Earth. I think with Mensch is very much a street writer. And by that I mean, if you've read Moon Knight, you know what I mean. And actually, interestingly enough, that's what Thor does in these first couple of issues. He is a street level defender of New York. A lot of the stories felt like this could have been Daredevil, Moon Knight, Spider-Man. It was just odd seeing Thor handle gangsters, criminals. At one point, he helps a priest who's being harassed by gangsters because they want to firebomb this church to turn it into real estate. And I mean, it totally could have been a Daredevil issue, but for some reason Thor got this story, and he helps the priest from these, not muggers, they weren't muggers, they were like assassins. But it just felt like, I don't know why Thor has to deal with gangsters, number one. I'm gonna put these on. I don't give a fuck, guys. I don't care how I look. Because I totally forgot what happened here. Okay, so we start off here. Annual 9 starts off the story, a chess game between Odin and Dormammu, which was actually pretty fucking stellar. At one point, Thor has to rescue both Sif and Jane from Umar, who is Dormammu's sister. He goes into the dark dimension to save them. Oh yeah, and at one point, Thor kind of loses his mind. So it starts off with back on Asgard, but this is the annual. So, and he hallucinates. He thinks he sees monsters, but it's just hallucinations created by Umar. This was cool. So right here, Lord Chaos and Master Order, while Odin and Dormammu are playing chess for the control of the universe. Fucking Dormammu smiles. He's like, because nobody can see him. Only Thor can see him, but he's ensorcelled. Loki. Yeah. Oh, look. The World Trade Center. Remember that, guys? Before 9/11? Yeah, this is the issue. Okay, so issue 303, the first Doug Mensch issue. This is where he helps a priest. Which, again, it felt like this should have been... I love this. Right there. This right here. This could have been a Moon Knight story or a Daredevil story, but for whatever reason, Don Blake is helping this priest who's being harassed by gangsters who are going to firebomb the church. And there's not a thing he can do about it. Oh yeah, Rick Leonardi also does artwork here. It's really good. Doug Mensch, Mark Gruenwald, Ralph Macchio. Oh yeah, Chris Claremont wrote Annual 9. Alan Zelenitz did Annual 10. And for those of you who don't know, Alan Zelenitz was involved. He was a producer. And I think he did Back to the Future. He actually was like a Hollywood guy who wrote comic books in the 80s. Or maybe he was a comic book guy first and then became a producer. But I do remember his name. Like, he used to produce a lot of movies. Keith Pollard. We got Rick Leonardi. Luke McDonald, who also did the artwork for Annual 9. Bob Hall, who did Annual 10. Gil Kane, who did 318. And Alan Kupperberg, who filled in. I forgot. He did one issue. Oh, yeah. We also get Tales of Asgard comes back. Balder now has white hair. Carnilla wants Balder, but he doesn't want her. So then she conspires for him to meet this beautiful blonde chick named Nana. And it all blows up in her face. The Tales of Asgard stories are Balder and Carnilla with Nana. And Nana sacrifices herself. So Balder's about to marry Carnilla. And he's like, no, I don't love you. I love Nana. But then Nana's like, you know what? The only way you can be free of Carnilla is if I kill myself. So she stabs herself. I'm talking about Nana. And Balder's free, but Balder's now severely depressed. They give Nana a Viking funeral on Asgard. And it's so sad. Gabriel the Airwalker returns in 305, as does Firelord in 306. And then we learned that Firelord and Gabriel the Airwalker, both of whom were heralds of Galactus, were also Xandarian shipmates in outer space. We discover, oh my God. Oh yeah, the little kid's like, I hate you, Thor, I hate you. Because he thinks Gabriel is his friend. Because you know how kids are so stupid. Gabriel's an android. And the little kid blames Thor for killing Gabriel. But that wasn't the case. Yeah. Tales of Asgard, I love it. Another one has Loki. Yeah, see, Firelord is now fighting Thor. I hope you guys can find a copy of this. I actually found this in one of my comic book stores and paid $34.99. I paid it cover price, but I'm sure this is like a lot now. Carnilla, fucking baiting Balder. So much happens here. What else? Oh yeah, there's a nightmare a nightmare demon that Thor has to chase after. Again, it feels like a Moon Knight story, and of course, Mensch is writing it. Loki's finally freed from his bonds with Sigyn. Sigyn is so sweet. She's like a doting, loving, beautiful wife, and Loki just is like, I hate you, you miserable bitch. But finally, Odin frees him from her. But then Odin banishes Loki to an outpost, and that's where he hooks up with Carnilla again. And that's what leads into this issue 308, where a snow giant or a frost giant attacks Earth. Carnilla betrays Loki, and then Thor has to help Loki. You know, awesome. I just love this frost giant. It's not Ymir. It's just some random frost giant. The Bombardiers. This is 309. This is the one that Bill Mantlo filled in for Doug Mensch. Oh my God, this looks like the Batmobile. I remember reading this yesterday, and I was like, God, that looks like the Batmobile. Again, like another Daredevil Moon Knight story. These guys, these Bombardiers, are blowing up buildings so that the landlords can collect money, and people get killed like from fires and stuff. And it's like, it's really street level stories, like very little God stuff except Tales of Asgard and other stuff in the beginning. At one point there's a race riot storyline. 310 he fights Mephisto. Mephisto comes back and drags Thor to hell, to Hades, and all these there's like a whole fight in hell that goes on. Mephisto's like, argh. Annual 10 has the Demogorge, the God Eater, where it literally eats all the death gods. Hela, Hades, Pluto. Like they can't stop this guy. So then all the Odin and Zeus send Thor and Apollo, and Vishnu sends his Indian champion, and they all fight and die except Thor. But of course Thor wins. I love this last shot here. Of course, that Mephisto right there, that beast, and Thor. I like Keith Pollard. Keith Pollard is another very good writer. Oh yeah, this is the race riot issue. So in keeping with the times and things that were happening, I guess in New York, black people, white people, they continue to hate each other. Black people hate the cops because the cops shoot black people. So in this story, it's another social issue. These two white cops shoot this black kid because they think he's going to shoot them because he's reaching into his jacket. Stupid. Like, why would you do that? And then so this white cop shoots him, and the kid eventually dies. All these black people get angry, so they take over the clinic that Don works at. Meanwhile, Don gets suspended because he operated on the kid and left him, and then the kid died. So then the doctors are like, you abandoned your patient, and we gotta let you go. And it's like, what? He saved the guy. He had no idea that the kid had a weak heart. But they go and they fire him, But this is issue 311, by the way. Really good social commentary. Thor has to jump into the mix. Don has to jump into the mix. This is the black kid's mom. She's like, oh my goodness, my boy. Oh, I didn't mention issue 304, by the way, had him taking on the Wrecking Crew. Thor has to take on Thunderball, the Wrecker, Pile Driver, and Bulldozer, which is also back here. This is 304. See? The black woman, this cab driver almost runs over this black woman, and she's like, oh my goodness. Like, she literally says, that's the line, oh my goodness. Yeah, see? Thunderball, he's black. A lot of white people. What else? Odin still doesn't have his eye. Loki now has a ponytail, which makes him look badass. This is his wife, Segan, who's very sweet and doting, but Loki doesn't like her. She's like very annoying. Look at her. She's so sad. Oh, look at her face. This was a really good. Oh my God. This is the one. This is the annual 10 where all the nether gods are conspiring against Thor and Odin. I love this stuff. And the Demogorgon. Oh my God. The ending was so weird with this annual 10. Like, Odin allows Hela to walk Asgard, like, even though she tried to like kill them multiple times. Actually, at one point, I don't understand this, but in the Tales of Asgard, it shows Odin and the Valkyries trying to get Valhalla. Apparently, Hela stole Valhalla and annexed it with Niflheim, which is her turf, her territory, Hela. And so Odin wants Valhalla back. So he takes 9 Valkyries, go into battle with Hela and her forces. And in the end, Hela gives up Valhalla. Valhalla. That's what she should have renamed Valhalla as Valhalla. And yeah, Odin wins. Odin gets Valhalla back. There's so much here. This is where, this is the annual 10 where Thor and all of the champions are getting ready to fight the God Eater. The God Eaters is Atom, the first god who was benevolent, but then he became corrupted, and starts swallowing up all the gods, which is crazy. A map of Asgard is in the back of the annual 10, so you actually get to see where everything is. It reminds me of the map in Conan the Barbarian when they did that. And then the Bi Beast comes back. The Bi Beast and the Man Beast. And so from 315 to 317, we get a 3-part storyline involving Man Beast, Bi Beast, and Man Thing. All in one. Bi Beast looks so fucking freaky. It's so freaky. And Iron Man also helps out against Man Beast and Bi Beast. By Man Beast. And for those of you who don't remember, the Man Beast was the super beast that was created by the High Evolutionary way back in like issue 134, which was like 1966, like right after the first appearance of the High Evolutionary. So that's like 1966. Man Thing right there. Can't believe it, guys. The first 20 years, I've already read the first 20 years within a month. I started August 1st, and I'm already 20 years in and like countless issues later. Yeah. And then Cape Canaveral. Again, the Man Beast comes back. This is 317. This is an okay issue. And so this cover, by the way, this is 318, is that. And this was a one-off. I guess they were behind schedule. This was Loki gets Fafnir the dragon and lures Thor to a grotto. And then, the last issue, Zaniac, the psychopath here. This was a weird one. This was like a take on slasher films and horror. A lot of references to what was it? John Carpenter. They make mention of Thief by which starred James Caan, Steve McQueen. I know some of you guys don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about, but this was probably the most faithful of pop culture. The director here is named Cronin King, which I think was an allusion to Cronenberg, David Cronenberg. Hold on. Yeah. Oh, and in the end, Thor decides to stay in Chicago, by the way. So he's leaving New York. It's like when Tony Stark decided to move to Los Angeles and leave New York behind. And I didn't know that. I never knew that Don is moving to Chicago, but of course Don is Thor, so. But they mentioned the Blues Brothers, Thief with James Caan, The Fury, Steve McQueen and The Hunter. So there's a lot of pop culture references. They mentioned Spencer Tracy and Katharine Hepburn, and this is the Zaniac. That's the villain. It's an actor named Brad Wolfe, but this explosion fucks his head up and he thinks he's the Zaniac, and he's going after all these women with a knife. And Thor has to stop him. Yeah. I don't know. That's pretty much it, guys. But we are now in the 80s. The Zaniac attacks all these chicks in a dormitory. It reminds me of that Charles Bronson movie that came out around this time. I guess Doug Mensch was into slasher films and women in peril movies, the Final Girl movies. Anyway, that's about it, guys. Thor hooks up with this new chick named Shauna, Dr. Shauna Lynn, who was a colleague of his. And in the very last page, he decides, you know what? I'm going to stick to Chicago. I'm going to stick around here, and that's that. So that's it. I guess no more Sif, no more Jane. Now we have a new love interest, and her name is Shauna. And that's it. All right, guys. I got to head out, get to the city. So next The next book will be the last before it's broken, the consecutive run, Volume 12, Rune Quest, 1982 to 1983, and that covers 320 to 336, Annual number 11, and Bizarre Adventures number 32. So this is it, and then there's going to be a gap. We're going to get Volume 13 in March next year. No word yet on 14 and 15, and then I'll pick up with Volume 16, War of the Pantheons. All right, guys, leave a like, subscribe, do whatever you need to do, and comment down below. Let me know if I missed anything. I'm sure I did. Again, I posted the rundowns in 2 parts because there's just so much that happens, guys. The takeaway from this is Thor is now a street-level vigilante. A lot of the stories are made for Daredevil and Moon Knight, but for some reason, Thor is now a street defender. He, at the very end, decides to move to Chicago and leave New York behind. Loki is around, Odin's around, lots of new villains, Tales of Asgard. Yeah, and that's it. Carnilla, Balder, Nana, Valkyries, Valhalla, Hela. All that happens in this. And yeah, he tries to save a church from gangsters. All right, guys. I'll see you guys next time, maybe in a couple of days for Rune Quest. Take care of yourselves. Keep reading those epics. I'll see you next time. Bye.